Yeah, I figured out my, people always complain about how sensitive my mic is. You know, it picks up my mouth and, you know, like, yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't realize, I just looked up these flow state. What is that? Hey, thanks. Bella Thorne. Yeah, so this microphone that I have, it's a really good one. Rode, I think NT1, I think that's what it's called, but it's really sensitive. It's actually for studios that have sound, you know, like basically all there is in the room is your mic and you, and then you have to set it up, you know. So it's not the right one for what I do, you know, like doing these live streams. So I just purchased a different one, a Shure microphone. That is a dynamic mic. Should be better. So, yeah, we'll see soon. Should be getting that one. Hey, thanks, Cheryl Bullock. Yeah, so I got that. That should be here in the next couple days. It'll be on the same boom here, but it's just, I think it's meant more for what I do than this one. This one's for like recording music and, you know, it's like really sensitive, like, you know, I make sounds and there it is, right? And there goes my stomach. See, you can hear it. All right, so I've got I put the manifesto. It's like 70-something pages long, really too long to read, and you really can't read a lot of the stuff that's in it. But I had ChatGPT summarize it, so we can hear what's in I haven't listened to the whole thing myself. I had it do a more detailed version, so we'll just have it read it. All right, and then we'll pause it whenever we, you know, feel like it. All right. So here we go.
Yes. I'll keep this analytical and not repeat the racial slurs, operational instructions, or propaganda-style calls to violence beyond what is necessary to explain what the document is doing. Larger detailed breakdown of the manifesto. 1. What this document is. The manifesto is titled, The New Crusade, and presents itself as a Sons of Tarrant debut manifesto. The visual branding on the early pages is deliberately neo-Nazi accelerationist, militant symbols, skull imagery, accelerate your hate, and references to Brenton Tarrant-style propaganda. The author also uses the title, Misanthropist Cell, blending hatred of society with incel identity. Caleb 20, Vasquez 20, Manifesto. The document is not just a rant, it is a hybrid of personal grievance statement, extremist ideological manifesto, propaganda recruitment piece, suicide martyrdom note, copycat inspiration document, operational planning outline. That combination is important. He is not simply explaining beliefs. He is trying to convert personal failure, humiliation, and resentment into ideological purpose. 2. Opening. Why don't I do something? The manifesto begins by quoting or paraphrasing previous attackers and ideological heroes. The repeated theme is, everyone says something must be done, but nobody acts. Therefore, I must act. That is the psychological gateway of the document. He frames violence as a moral awakening. He presents himself as someone who has moved from passive resentment to active duty. On page 4, he repeatedly uses the logic of, if not me, then who? And says he can no longer sit by while others do nothing. Caleb 20, Vasquez 20 Manifesto. This is classic grievance to action framing. He is trying to make violence feel not merely permissible, but required. The emotional formula is, the world is collapsing. The enemy is everywhere. Cowards only talk online. Real believers act. I will act. Others should follow. That is why the opening matters.
You know what's weird is this seems really similar to all of these people. You know? Like Elliot Rodgers, sort of like that. You know, I don't know if Koberger was like that, but these people are doing, you know, they believe that like the world's messed up and they got to do something about it. It's crazy. But hey guys, while we're playing this, if you guys could help support the channel, we've had 2 days in a row where we didn't make it. So if you guys have the ability to, that would be great.
Matters. It is designed to lower the barrier between extremist fantasy and real-world violence. E. Core ideological structure. The manifesto combines several extremist systems that reinforce each other. A. Neo-Nazism. National socialism. He identifies with National Socialism and white supremacist politics. He talks about racial hierarchy, racial purity, a white ethno-state, and violent revolution. His use of Zog, white race, replacement, and race war places the document firmly in neo-Nazi ideological territory. Caleb 20, Vasquez 20 Manifesto. B. Accelerationism. He explicitly says he is an accelerationist. His idea is that society cannot be reformed through politics, voting, or protest. Instead, he believes violence should be used to accelerate social collapse and trigger broader conflict. Caleb 20, Vasquez 20 Manifesto. C. Incel ideology. He repeatedly frames women as responsible for his personal humiliation.
Amazing, you guys. It's just all the same stuff. You know, so this doesn't have, there's no political ideology really. It's just an incel coming up with a story so that he can go out and kill and feel good about it.
Humiliation and
say that? Koberger, incel. Elliot Rodger, incel.
Rejection. His hatred of women is not a side issue. It is one of the emotional engines of the document. He talks about height, attractiveness, genetics, rejection, autism, and being treated as inferior.
God, isn't that incredible right there? That whole thing? Elliot Rodger was almost identical. You know, it's almost identical to this person. Hold on. Man, isn't that incredible? I mean, this guy looks sort of like... Elliot Rodger was very effeminate. And, you know, they say he had Asperger's. And he really just hated everybody because everybody else got to have sex, but he didn't get to. So then he goes out and kills, you know, 2 roommates of his and then some college students. And then I think he got shot, and then he shot himself. He took his own life. So these guys are like literally, I think they're kind of like, you know, Elliot Rodger. They're mimicking him again. Let's see. Joel Burnt said, "Keep it going, Gray. Good show." Well, I hope so. It's getting kind of scary in here.
Inferior. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. D. Anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. The manifesto's central enemy is Jewish people. He blames them for politics, media, immigration, feminism, LGBTQ visibility, banking, pornography, war, and cultural decline. This is the master conspiracy that ties the entire document together. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. E. Racist
that part isn't like Elliot Rodger.
Racist replacement ideology. He treats non-white immigration and minority populations as an invasion. He frames demographic change as deliberate genocide against white people. This is directly aligned with Great Replacement-style ideology. Caleb 20, Vasquez 20 Manifesto. Or the Universal Enemy section. This section is the manifesto's ideological spine. He claims that virtually every major social problem can be traced to Jewish people. He lists politics, banking, media, immigration, cultural change.
You know, he'd probably be a fan of... what's her face? Candace Owens, right? Except for the fact that he doesn't like black people either.
Change, sexual degeneracy, family breakdown, and racial replacement as supposedly connected to one hidden Jewish source. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. What matters here is not factual accuracy. The section is conspiracy-driven and historically false, but how the logic works. He creates a single enemy that explains everything. Personal failure? The system is controlled. Political frustration? The parties are controlled. Immigration? Controlled. Media? Controlled. Women's behavior? Influenced by controlled culture. Race relations? Manipulated. His own isolation? Part of a larger attack on white men. This is psychologically useful to him because it turns a chaotic life into a simple story. I suffer because a hidden enemy designed the world against me. That kind of worldview is dangerous because it removes complexity and moral restraint. Once he defines an entire group as the hidden cause of all suffering, violence becomes easier for him to justify. Holocaust denial and historical revisionism. The manifesto includes Holocaust denial and claims that mainstream history is fabricated. He tries to portray Nazi Germany's camps as misrepresented and frames Jewish suffering as propaganda. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. This serves
Yep, he'd be a fan of Cannasones for sure.
serves two purposes. First, it rehabilitates Nazism. If the Holocaust is denied or minimized, then Nazism becomes easier for him to romanticize. Second, it makes violence against Jews seem defensive rather than aggressive. He is trying to invert victim and perpetrator roles. This is a recurring tactic throughout the document. Every group he hates is portrayed as the true aggressor, while he portrays himself as responding. Sixth, media and political conspiracy sections. He argues that mainstream politics is fake and controlled. He attacks both the left and the right. He views Democrats and Republicans as false choices, both allegedly controlled by Jewish influence. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. This is important because he cuts off normal political exits. He does not leave room for voting, activism, protest, persuasion, debate, reform. He presents all normal civic paths as useless. That pushes the reader toward his conclusion: only violence remains. He also criticizes conservatives, Trump supporters, centrists, liberals, and apolitical people. In his mind, almost everyone is either an enemy, a coward, a traitor, or a sleeping slave. That means the manifesto does not only target one group, it expands hostility outward until nearly all society is legitimate prey. 7. Incel and misogyny section. This is one of the clearest personal grievance sections.
So it stopped. Oh, it's clocking over here.
He describes women as cruel, shallow, hypergamous, emotionally irrational, and responsible for his humiliation. He repeatedly returns to height insecurity and the belief that short men are treated as subhuman. He also references autism and social awkwardness, contrasting how he believes women would be treated sympathetically for the same traits, while men are mocked. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. The structure is, I was rejected, I was mocked. Women value only height, looks, and status. Women are rewarded, while men like me are discarded. Therefore, my hatred is justified.
I mean, it's so weird that, but we've gone over Elliot Rodger on here many times. He says a lot of the same stuff.
Justified. Therefore, revenge is righteous. This section is very similar in spirit to Elliot Rodger-style grievance writing, but it is fused with white supremacist politics. He takes personal romantic failure and politicizes it. The key point, his ideology is not separate from his personal pain. His ideology gives his personal pain a target. 8. Genetic cursing. This section is basically fatalism. He argues that genetics determine social value, romantic success, criminality, status, and destiny. He portrays himself and others like him as doomed from birth because of looks, height, neurological traits, and phenotype. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. This is a dangerous psychological move because it eliminates the possibility of improvement. If he believes he cannot become attractive, cannot be socially accepted, cannot be loved, cannot escape humiliation, cannot have a normal life, then violence becomes, in his mind, the only remaining way to gain power, meaning, and recognition. That is why the genetic determinism theme matters. It creates hopelessness, and hopelessness is then converted into rage. Racist sections against Muslims, black people, immigrants, and LGBTQ people. The manifesto has separate sections targeting different groups. Each group is framed as part of the same larger threat to white people. He describes Muslims as religious and cultural invaders. He describes black people through racist pseudoscience and crime statistics. He describes Latino South American immigrants as an invasion and economic replacement force. He describes LGBTQ people as degeneracy and demographic sabotage. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. The pattern is the same each time. Dehumanize the group. Claim they are dangerous. Claim society protects them. Claim whites are victims. Claim normal politics cannot fix it. Imply or endorse violence as the answer. He uses statistics as emotional ammunition, not careful analysis. The statistics are presented to inflame anger, not to understand crime, migration, economics, or culture. N. About Me section. This is where the author becomes more explicit about identity. He states that his name is Caleb Vasquez, says he is 18, describes his ancestry, acknowledges mental issues will likely come out, and says politically he aligns most with National Socialism and ecofascism. He says his religion is effectively the white race. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. He also identifies as an accelerationist and says he does not believe in a diplomatic solution. He rejects voting, protest, and infiltration as inadequate. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. This section is significant because it shows he is self-aware about how he will be interpreted after the fact. He is preemptively answering media questions. Was he left-wing? Was he right-wing? Was he mentally ill? Was he an incel? Was he in a group? What radicalized him? That means the manifesto is written partly as a post-event media package. His explanation for radicalization. His answer is basically, society did this to me. He blames ridicule, rejection, being ignored, being treated like a joke, and being made to feel subhuman. He says he could have been normal but was forced onto this path. Caleb 20, Vasquez 20 Manifesto. This is one of the most revealing parts. He does not simply say, I chose this. He says, you mocked me. You rejected me. You humiliated me. You made me this. Now you deserve what happens. That is grievance ideology in its purest form. Responsibility is externalized. He casts himself as the consequence of other people's behavior. This is also a power fantasy. He imagines transforming from ignored and humiliated into feared and remembered. Goals and objectives. The stated goal is not merely personal revenge. He wants to restart the momentum he believes Brenton Tarrant created. He wants to inspire more attackers, more propaganda, and more race war acceleration. Caleb 20, Vasquez 20 Manifesto. The new crusade is his branding for that imagined movement. He wants copycats, propaganda, live stream attention, ideological spread, racial conflict, societal collapse, personal martyrdom. The manifesto is therefore not just explanatory, it is performative. He is trying to create a script others can imitate. Plan of action section. The document includes operational planning discussion, target selection, reconnaissance, use of online maps, timing, publicity, and live streaming. I'm not going to reproduce the tactical details, but the overall meaning is clear. He was thinking in terms of multiple locations, maximum impact, media spread, and post-event propaganda. Caleb 20 Vasquez 20 Manifesto. This section shows deliberation rather than impulsive venting. He thinks about locations, timing, crowd levels, reconnaissance, publicity, archiving, live streaming. Death or capture, symbolic victory. That shifts the document from angry manifesto into attack-oriented manifesto. 14. Death wish and martyrdom. One of the most important elements is that he says death is the most important outcome to him. He describes dying as preferable and frames death as part of the mission. Caleb 20, Vasquez 20 Manifesto. This is not merely suicidal ideation. It is suicidal ideation fused with ideological martyrdom. That combination is especially dangerous because survival is no longer the goal. If death is desired, normal deterrents lose power. Prison does not deter. Public shame does not deter. Self-preservation does not deter. Risk does not deter. He sees death as completion. 15. Propaganda consciousness. He repeatedly thinks about audience. He wants the manifesto spread. He wants live streams archived. He wants memes, edits, and propaganda. He believes modern radicalization happens through short-form online content as much as books or manifestos. Caleb 20, Vasquez 20 Manifesto. This is very important. He understands the online extremist ecosystem. He knows that the actual attack is only part of the goal. The afterlife of the attack, clips, edits, screenshots, symbols, nicknames, manifestos, and memes, is part of the intended impact. In other words, he is not just planning violence. He is planning content. 16th, Sons of Tarrant. This is his attempt to create a brand or identity category for future attackers. He wants people who admire Tarrant to see themselves as part of a lineage. Caleb 20, Vasquez. Manifesto. The purpose is belonging. Instead of being a lone, humiliated young man, he imagines himself as part of a brotherhood, a crusade, a historical movement, a chain of martyrs. This solves one of his emotional problems: isolation. The manifesto turns loneliness into membership. 17. Tone and writing style. The writing style is messy, but revealing. It is repetitive, rage-filled, meme-influenced, conspiratorial, grandiose, self-pitying, violent, pseudo-intellectual, obsessed with status and humiliation. He jumps between political ideology, personal complaint, racial hatred, internet slang, and martyrdom fantasy. Several sections are marked unfinished, which suggests the document was still evolving. But even unfinished, the central pattern is already clear. Psychological read. The manifesto appears driven by several overlapping forces. Humiliation. He repeatedly describes being mocked, rejected, ignored, and treated as lesser. Envy. He resents men who have romantic social success, women who reject him, and groups he believes receive sympathy or protection. Externalized blame. He takes personal failures and projects them onto women, Jews, immigrants, minorities, liberals, conservatives, society, and the system. Identity collapse. He seems to reject ordinary identity, student, worker, friend, citizen, and replace it with extremist identity. Grandiosity. He imagines violence will transform him from nobody into someone historically significant. Suicidal finality. He does not write like someone expecting a future. He writes like someone trying to author his ending. Threat assessment indicators. The document contains many major warning signs. Fixation on previous attackers. Ideological justification for violence. Explicit desire for death. Personal grievance and revenge framing. Dehumanization of target groups. Belief that peaceful solutions are impossible. Operational planning language. Desire for live streaming media spread. Desire to inspire copycats. Identification with extremist communities. Use of martyrdom language. This is not just edgy internet writing. It shows ideological commitment, grievance, suicidal ideation, and planning-oriented thought. Bottom line interpretation. The manifesto is best understood as a fusion document. It fuses Brenton Tarrant-style white supremacist accelerationism, Elliot Rodger-style incel grievance, neo-Nazi anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, personal humiliation, suicidal ideation, online meme propaganda culture. The author's worldview is not coherent in an academic sense. It is coherent emotionally. Everything in it serves the same emotional purpose. I was humiliated. I am not powerless. I have enemies. My enemies deserve punishment. My death will mean something. Others should follow. That is the core of the document.
Yeah. So this guy's very similar to Elliot Rodger. You know, basically, if somebody had given him attention, it might have changed this. But nobody's required, I guess, to do that. I don't know. These people are crazy. You know, they don't realize, like in his case, that it's him. You know. Yeah, I don't know. These guys always have a name somewhere, especially now in the incel world. See, what they were doing is they were probably jealous of how Elliot Rodger became popular, you know, like, is the father of incel. And so now they want to have their own one, so they had a new name and everything, but the way they talk is identical to Elliot Rodger. Same types of things, you know, like, why does everybody else get to have somebody and I don't get to? What's wrong with me? I'm fantastic. Remember that? He would say that. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like every other one. Everybody's like, hey, this is just like Columbine. It has nothing to do with, nowhere near Columbine. These guys are totally different. Those guys were just crazy killers, you know. Let's see. What do we got here? I mean, other than the fact that they went in somewhere and shot people, that's the similarity. All right, and let's see. So I'm going to go over to oh yeah. So we're going to Nancy Guthrie now. I don't have anything else to say about those guys. Now they didn't have the same mentality. Yeah. I know you want it to be, but it's just like Elliot Rodger. Yeah, so let's, here we go. Let's open this one up. The reason behind their mentality is different. Huh? I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, though. I mean, I saw the video too of basically, they both had a pact that they were going to take their own life, but one of them would have to do the other one first, you know. So you didn't see the other guy get shot really, but you saw him shoot him, and then you could tell it hit him because then there was sort of a little bit of blood that showed up on his face. And then he just put the gun to his face and basically blew his face off. I mean, it was crazy. It's really small video that I saw, but he just immediately recocked it and then shot himself. You know, just sitting in the car. Pretty crazy stuff. I mean, these people are crazy, man. It's just, But hey guys, could you guys please help support the channel tonight? Last night we didn't make the goal. We didn't make the goal the night before that. And I need your guys' support when we do these shows, because my channel relies on you guys so that my channel can survive, and also allows us to give a big chunk of the money from the ad revenue, etc., to various true crime related charities at the end of the month. And this month has just been almost a disaster so far. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, that'd be great. We've already given out 500. We'll see what we can do at the end of the month, but I need your guys' support. Anyways, here's another coffin daffer zinger here. Let's see, Nancy Guthrie's case, latest update. The disappearance of Nancy Guthrie continues to generate intense public scrutiny as investigators work through forensic evidence months after the case first emerged, with no confirmed suspects identified so far. Former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer is now introduced. It's like, okay, we're out of material, so let's now introduce a controversial theory suggesting the crime may be linked to an organized cryptocurrency extortion network known as Wrench Ring. What do you think of that one, Cindy? You like that one? All right, let's see. Anyways, you guys hear what I just said a minute ago? We need to get the support for the channel up tonight. The theory has reignited debate online, particularly as digital crimes involving cryptocurrency-related kidnapping and violent extortion attempts continue rising globally, while cyber security analysts have repeatedly warned that wrench attacks are becoming more common as criminals shift from online hacking to physical intimidation tactics. Yeah, so anyways, she put that in there and I was looking it up. All right, so these are the DoorDash crypto wrench attacks, suspects charged. Like, here's one of them, you know. It says 3 suspects in a crypto wrench. But here's the thing, it's like, they don't have any, she didn't have any crypto. I mean, it says, according to the reporting, the 3 men have been charged in 2 specific crimes. I guess you could have them send money to your crypto. But police believe that they are part of a larger operation. The criminal, apparently, this is back in, just like a month and a half ago, identified a major cryptocurrency holder, researching and surveilling that cryptocurrency holder. A detective who spoke to the Chronicle described this, saying they figure out your trends, your life cycle, and do you normally order online? What do you normally order for takeout? The criminal attempts to gain access to accounts. In the case of one victim who spoke to the Chronicle, for me, it was my DoorDash and Uber Eats accounts. Now, weird, because, I mean, she did take an Uber just prior to that, right? The criminal would then create a fake delivery, meet the victim at the door, and then threaten them. Wow, that's crazy. Hey, you guys, look at that. We got Joel Burnt is doing a 5 for 5-er. That'd be amazing. So if you guys gift 5 memberships, or, you know, just do one, each one of you, or 5 of you does one $5 super chat, or 5 of you do one gifted membership, he'll donate 5 all by himself. So it's a 2-for-1er on your side to help support the channel. Cryptocurrencies, censorship, resistant transfer, as well as its pseudonymous I don't know, pseudonymous maybe, I don't know. These attacks that don't try to bypass the cryptographic security that protects the assets, but use threats and violence to influence the person who has access to the keys. Indeed, kidnappers and extortion have become an international problem for cryptocurrency holders and firms. It says game, and then down here it says these attacks have included French firm Waltio, UK-based. I have a whole bunch more here, so hold on a second. So you got that one, and then let's see. There's one from. This is June of 2025. This one. So what do they do? The headline-grabbing tale of an Italian man who said captors kidnapped and tortured him for weeks in an upscale Manhattan townhouse in a bid to get his Bitcoin highlights a dark corner. Yeah, see, here's the thing. It's like Nancy Guthrie didn't have Bitcoin. So I don't know where this theory comes from. You know, she doesn't have Bitcoin, and, you know, I doubt Savannah Guthrie has Bitcoin. You know, so I'm not even really sure. I mean, I guess what they wanted, just because they wanted to send money, you know, have money sent to a crypto, you know, Bitcoin account, doesn't mean that these are these wrench, wrench ring, I guess. But hey, guys, we got 2 people up there, but as part of the 5 for 5, we need 3 more, you guys. It's a really good way to help support the channel. Anyways, the alleged attempted robbery is known as a wrench attack. Its name is popularized by an online comic that mocked how easily high-tech security can be undone by hitting someone with a wrench until they give up passwords. Wrench attacks are increasing thanks in part to cryptocurrency move into mainstream finance. You know, so then I guess what they would do is go to, you know, somebody that has a crypto account. Well, you can't really just break into it because it's impossible, actually. So then, you know, they beat somebody until they give them the password to get into the crypto account. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin offer traders full control of their funds without the need for a bank or permission from a government to buy or sell or hold it. The trade-off is that if funds are lost or stolen, there can be no way to get them back. Self-reliance is a key ethos of crypto, securing and controlling one's private keys, which are like passwords used to access one's crypto holding. Yeah, so I don't know how Coffin Daffer is claiming that that's what this is, because these are, you know, you're trying to get money from somebody that already has a crypto account. Now, it might be extortion, like you're trying. It's just, well, it's a ransom. You know, you're trying to get somebody to send you a ransom into a crypto account, but we don't even know if that's what they were trying to do. The case in New York is the latest in a string of high-profile wrench attacks. I don't know. I don't see how that's the same. The other one's just the classic, you know, you try to get somebody to send you money. I don't know if that's the same. The rise of wrench attacks. Let's see if this one. What is a wrench attack? A wrench attack refers to a situation where physical force or intimidation is used, well, to compel a victim to surrender access to their cryptocurrency holdings. How is that? Okay. Can anybody give me, how does this work in the Nancy Guthrie case? So they got Nancy Guthrie so that she would give them the crypto account numbers? Is that it? You guys, we have a challenge up there by Joel Burnt. Okay? And it's really going to help support the channel, but we need 3 more of you to donate 1 channel membership to reach that challenge. I hate to try to get the ball rolling, but it's incredibly frustrating for me these days. All right, it's just an easy way to support the channel, 2 for 1. We need 3 more gifted memberships to reach Joel Burnt's challenge. All right, we are absolutely been struggling again, 2 days in a row of not making it the goal, not even close both days. So I need your guys' support. Yeah, I mean, I don't see how this is related at all. Can you guys make an argument? I don't think it has anything to do with anything. Well, there you go. Alley Cake had to do it again because nobody else had wanted to or the ability to help support the channel. So there we go. We got Alley Cake, who thank you very much. Now they got 6 of them, and so the challenge was met. Jesus. When there's no real news, people start making up stuff. That's why it's, hey, a new controversial theory. Well, you know why it's controversial? Because it doesn't make any sense. You know, it doesn't make any sense. That's why. Hey, there's Eloquent Pirate. Did you get my text message? I was weird. I went on too early or something, and it seemed like they had him sitting in there, and he was wearing that little, his jail outfit. You know, the same one Jodi Arias would wear. Kind of like gray and black. It was just sitting there. I wish I had I took a picture of it. I didn't realize that just wasn't going to be the thing. Then I got kicked out. But I was in there. Yeah. Have you ever seen him in the jumpsuit? It looked like the defense started their case today. Okay, so it's Tuesday. All right. Definitely, I'll make sure I'm there for that. Is he going to be testifying tomorrow, maybe? Or when's he testifying? I think Joel Burnt went to sleep. It took you guys so long. Oh, there's Joel Burnt right there. Well, thank you. That's double that. Well, that was very kind of you there, Joel Burnt. Maybe we'll get hold on, let me go to the other screen. Come on. Show up there. Tomorrow? Okay. Hopefully I'll be home. I'm going to try to go fishing with my kid tomorrow. I don't know. Is it not gonna... Well, I'll just leave it here for now. See what happens. Anyways, thanks Joel Burnt and Jim Lawn up there and Alley Cake. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm just not, I don't think it's related at all. Because, does anybody think that Nancy Guthrie had a crypto account? I mean, really, I mean, she's 84 years old. How many 84-year-olds that are just kind of chilling out in retirement are going to go out and get a crypto account? Anybody? Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna... I don't know if I have it set up today for some reason. Yeah, there's no way in hell she. So how did it work then? Who was the wrench applied to? The physical attack that led to, an attempt to get crypto. It just zero doesn't match that at all. I think they were trying to extort. I don't even believe that, but if they really were trying to get money, they were just trying to get a ransom and really just extort because they didn't have anything. They didn't have. She wasn't alive. It's weird. I don't seem to be able to stream. The Streamlabs. Oh wait. There it is. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping. I don't know why it didn't play the cat eye. The not cat eye. It was the. Well, I can't even remember anymore. My 85-year-old aunt can't operate a cell phone. Okay. Richard Watts says, I don't feel we know the truth. I feel it's a setup. What do you mean? What do you mean you feel it's a setup? What's the other one? Not the cat eye, but what's the $49.99? What does that do? It's the something Dan avocado. There you go. Just remember. In January of 2025, David Ballin, co-founder of the crypto wallet company, so he's going to have one. I don't know, man. That seems like just I mean, I don't mean to. Everybody can have an opinion. I just think it's really absolutely no chance at all that this was a wrench ring attack on Nancy Guthrie. I think it's like 1 in a billion. There's no way in hell she didn't have a crypto account and she didn't give it to him, and she would have given it to him. There's no doubt about it. But and then Savannah doesn't have that. He just wanted money put into his crypto account. That's the only. So the word crypto. I don't know. I don't even want to spend any more time talking about it. It's ridiculous. I hadn't even looked at it. I just wanted to see if it made sense with all of you guys, and in my opinion, it makes no sense. All right, this is another one. I just wanted to see what this one said. This one's also from today. Nancy Guthrie case update. Former FBI agent suggests new DNA theory. Questions sheriff's secret leads. With DNA still under review and no suspects named, the case continues to test both local leadership. This is, I don't know, somebody called IB Times, whatever the hell that is. Nancy Guthrie's disappearance from her Tucson home has entered its 4th month, and a retired FBI agent is now arguing that the case may hold far more forensic evidence than police have publicly described. Former agent Stephen Moore, speaking on News Nation, said the single hair reportedly found inside the house is unlikely to be the only trace left behind. While also questioning Sheriff Chris Nano's handling of the investigation. See, I just thought this was, I read some of this earlier. It was like, Retired FBI Special Agent Steve Moore has emerged as one of the most outspoken, outside voices on the Nancy Guthrie case. Speaking to News Nation, how do I become that guy that they go, outspoken? Yeah, but you know why? Because I just tell you the truth. It's not interesting. Okay. That Gray Hughes guy, he's not an FBI agent, but boy, he's sure outspoken. All right, guys, let's see if we can still keep the support for the channel going. We're at 40% now. We didn't make the goal last night. We didn't make the goal the night before that. It'd be nice to try to reach one in the last 3 days. Anyway, speaking to News Nation correspondent Brian Hinton, he seized on the one detail that has been repeatedly cited in public briefings. A single strand of hair. That's never been mentioned in a briefing. That a single strand of hair to have been recovered inside of Nancy's home, everybody. Hey, look at that. Jim Lawn's going to do one. Wow, very cool. Thanks, Jim. Jim Lawn's our local comedian. He's he's got all kinds of characters too. But he's got a 5 for 5-er, you guys. So 5 of you give 5, he'll match the 5. All right. So it says Moore was blunt about the likelihood that only one hair was found. Man, this is just such groundbreaking thought here. Imagine the odds of a person coming into a crime scene, losing only one hair, and you find it, he said. That's not likely. If you find other hair, there are probably 10 others that you missed. In his view, it is very possible investigators collected far more trace evidence than has been disclosed. Wow, that is amazing, you guys. All right, let's not waste my opportunities here on the challenges. So we got Jim Lawn, we got a 5 for 5-er, and there's Alley Cake again, of course. Thanks, Alley Cake. Gifted one of the 5, and we need 4 more now. Let me ask you guys something. When you're watching our show, I guess my show, but it's our community. Don't you just think that, like, we use way better, like, reasoning and thought process than something like this? Like, this is a whole show here. This is crazy. This guy did a whole thing about, now if you find one hair, there's probably 10 others that you missed. Well, we don't know. I mean, this guy's wearing clothing that he probably never had before. Maybe there was just a couple loose strands of hair on maybe the balaclava, and then based on the location they found the hair, it seemed like a possibility. Now, we don't know if there's 10 more. In his view, it's very possible investigators collected far more trace evidence than has been disclosed. He stressed that in cases like the Nancy Guthrie case, and by the way, you guys, does anybody in here not think, I mean, doesn't everybody agree that they have a hell of a lot more information than they've disclosed to the public? Everybody believes that. So it's not like you don't need to have a former FBI agent to tell people, listen, everybody, I just want to let you know, I think it's highly likely that the investigators in this case have additional information that hasn't been shared with the rest of us. Okay, so look out, everybody. There's some incredible sleuthing right there. Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wasserman. So we got Allie Cake, Karen, Wild Bill Wasserman. We need 2 more. Yeah, well, I don't think it's I don't think it's Nancy's hair. They would have already been able to tell you that. But who knows how many people were in that house? I mean, don't you just think it's crazy when there's these articles about stuff that's just so... I wish I knew a better term, but it's just so mundane. Like, wow, man, he's stressed that in a case like Nancy Guthrie's case, the evidence that ultimately convicts someone is often effectively invisible. You know, like fingerprints, skin cells, microscopic fibers and hairs rarely leap out to the naked eye. They have to be deliberately searched for and processed by trained technicians. Man, I never even thought of that, you guys. And when they go to crime scenes, they don't just, if they can't see it, they just ignore it. That's amazing. Wow. The evidence that convicts people is frequently invisible, Moore said. You're not going to see a finger... And then they literally get into that. You're not going to see a fingerprint from more than a foot away. Wow. I thought they would walk into a room and from a standing position, look around, and if they can't see a fingerprint, they move on to the next room. Didn't you guys think that? That these investigators, these crime scene techs, they just walk into the center of a room and then they basically spin around, do a pirouette. And if they can't see a fingerprint on anything, they merely walk out of the room. I didn't realize that you might have to walk up close to the item to notice the fingerprint. That's so wild. It's so weird. I'm being sarcastic in case you couldn't tell. All right, guys, we need 2 more gifted memberships up there to reach Jim Lawn's challenge. It's really important. Thank you. Man, you guys must be like a half mile behind or something. All right, you guys, we got to get those other 2. I'm going to sit here. We got to wait. This is really important. We got to get this challenge done. So we need 2 more gifted memberships to reach Jim Lawn's goal. Well, you must have missed the sarcasm then. Moore reserved some of his sharpest criticism for how the Pima County Sheriff's Department initially handled the scene in the Nancy Guthrie case. Sergeant Aaron Cross has previously described the first hours as chaotic, with conflicting accounts from, conflicting accounts from family members and breakdowns in communications between local deputies and federal agents. Wow, you must have been psychic there, Jim Lawn, because Stacy Facey and Allie Cake again jumped in to already match it. I mean, you already got it. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. All right, I see a glimmer of hope for today. We are over 50%, so that's pretty good. Yeah, whenever you use StreamYard, there's a pretty massive, what do you call it? Like a delay. For Moore, that is not acceptable description of major crime scene. Let's see. Moore reserved some of his sharpest criticism for how the Pima County Sheriff's Department initially handled the scene in the Nancy Guthrie case. Sergeant Aaron Cross has previously described the, oh, there goes my stomach, first hours as chaotic, with conflicting accounts from family members and breakdowns in communication between local deputies and federal agents. For more, that is not an acceptable description of a major crime scene. You're not allowed to have confusion at a crime scene, he said. If there's confusion, it means nobody is in charge. Who knows what they're doing? He likened the well-run response to a busy emergency room, fast-moving but never disorganized, and called the reported disarray a sign of inadequate preparation. He argued that in any suspected kidnapping, investigators need to act on two tracks at once: secure and compartmentalize the scene and quickly move family members to a neutral location where they can be calmed and interviewed away from the physical evidence. You need to get them in an emotional position where they can provide lucid information, Morse said. If relatives are allowed to move freely through the house, he suggested, well, they weren't. That wasn't how it was. I mean, what's her name? Annie went over there with Tommaso after their mother didn't show up for a live streaming of Savannah's church service at a friend's house. She didn't show up. So then they went over there. And I don't know, like, once they gave it back, I don't know how many, like, did the whole family just, show up there and start clomping around all over the place? We don't know. Yeah, I mean, the problem is with just one hair. Like when anybody goes anywhere, you go to a grocery store or something, it's very possible that by the time you get to your car, there's a hair or some fiber of somebody that was in the store, especially if you have a sweater on or something like that, and you walk by somebody and maybe you brushed by. Of course, there might be a hair that transfers onto your sweater. It's just, here's the thing though. The sweater, just get the DNA profile, do IgG, and when you get an answer, then, then you can look into the person to see if it makes sense. If it's Joe Schmo, you're going to have to, Joe Schmo or whatever, you might not get anything out of it. I'm too young to remember, it's like, it could just be like a worker that worked there, and then that would be interesting. They'd start going, okay, that kind of fits a possible profile, and then you look into them and it shows that they were out of town on a cruise that month. You might go, oh, well, there you go. So they got to figure out who the hair belongs to first, and then once they figure out who the hair belongs to, then you can do your investigation behind the scenes without them really even knowing about it. I think he didn't feel like saying same old different day. The former agent said Nanos recently, we're getting closer. He said we're getting closer, and it's true, right? See, what Nanos said is, yeah, we're getting closer. You know why? Because every day forward is closer to the day it gets solved. Isn't that correct? Right? So even if they have no new information or no leads, a week from now, it's closer to solving the case because let's say the case gets solved in 5.5 years. Well, tomorrow is closer to that date. And that's really what he's saying. That's funny. Yeah. In the early weeks, he had occasionally exchanged texts and calls with Savannah Guthrie, who took leave from Today to support the search. But even then, he acknowledged federal agents and his investigative team were the ones meeting her face to face. Oh, that's right. He doesn't talk to... It doesn't really bother anybody that Nanos isn't talking to the family, but his detectives are. I mean, that's really... I tell you what. I would rather have to speak to the detectives than Nanos. Put a 1 if you agree. I mean, I just feel like, man, I would love to speak to a detective in this case and figure out what they have. And so Nanos is just sort of, he's at the gym, he's got his driving around, doing different things. He probably gets updated, but he doesn't know the case intimately, I don't believe. I think almost everybody would rather talk to, would rather talk to one of the case workers, Everybody. Okay, I'm just going to move on. All right, so the last part might take up the rest of the show, but it's, it's one of those things where it's a combination. Today there was, they were bringing up this case. I think it was this one right here. Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. The legendary bass fisherman. All right, so this is in-depth Guthrie case brings back memories for some Foothills residents. And so this is sort of like a throwback case, but I spent probably 4 hours trying to get as many of the individual cases as I could find. But there's this guy, his name is Brian Lareva. He was just like the East Area rapist. I mean, exactly the same. Really crazy stuff. A little bit different, though. I mean, he was into drugs and stuff, but... for some, Nancy Guthrie disappearance is reopening old wounds in the Catalina Foothill neighborhood, where a different high-profile criminal had Tucson on edge decades ago. From 1983 to 1986, a man the Pima County Sheriff's Department dubbed the prime time rapist targeted women across Tucson for 3 years, burglarizing their homes and sexually assaulting them. More than 30 home invasions and more than 90 victims. It's crazy. Do you guys want to? I want to go over this. If it's going to be boring for you guys, I don't have to do it. But that's what I spent most of the day trying to get all the different things together. All right, but I got to use the restroom first, so I'll be back in a minute. Do you guys want to hear about it or not? All right, because I went and found like 90% of the cases that they were talking about. So hold on, I'll be back in just a minute. All right. Well, for those who, looks like the OKC won the game tonight against the Spurs, the same team that beat us. I thought we played them as good as anybody. I mean, it's crazy, you know. All right, let's see. We're about like 65% of the goal tonight, you guys. Or not even that, like 60%. So, you know, we need 26 more gifted memberships to reach the goal. Okay, but I'm doing a show, Chicken Wing, so I'll have to check it out later. And by the way, what happened to that case that you talked about the other day? Your relative. What was the deal in that case? I found the call, but what happened in that? I mean, it's been long enough where I think you can say something now. What happened there? Hello? Man, it's just so slow to respond in here. It seems like we have such a huge delay. Maybe that's what the problem is. Hello? Chicken Wing? What's the deal with that one? I thought that's what your email would be about, not another case. So let's get that one figured out first. Alrighty, what? Oh, Jesus. By these two guys that had over at his house. They brutally murdered him and then stole his car and said, did they catch him? And like, why'd they do this though? They weren't people he knew very well and they just kind of came over to his house or what? No, it wasn't about that. I don't know what that means. Okay. What's the motive in that one? Ah, I forget. Just send it to me then, Chicken Wing. The details. Okay? Send it to me. I'll just read it myself. I won't say it on the show. Okay? Yeah, so look at this. Police linked 30 local incidents since '83 to prime time. He was called the prime time rapist, right? So here's one on August 20th, 1983. A man pries open a window in a home near East Pima Street and North Country Club Road. The man, armed with a knife, sexually, it's the word that, they say rapes in here. Unfortunately, that's all they say. So, but sexually assaults a 34-year-old woman who is alone. All right. Then, let's see. Hold on. Is that upside down? Oh, that was 83, right? Did I have that one? 920. Yeah, so I don't know if I found that one. Okay, but then the next one, on the 26th, a man breaks through a kitchen window of a home near East 22nd Street and North. So, like, literally just, a month, like a month and 5 weeks later. And North Craycroft Road, armed with a knife, he sexually assaults a 66-year-old woman, ties up her 64-year-old husband, and robs them of $114. And then here is the actual story, I think. Yeah, right there. A 66-year-old woman was sexually assaulted at knife point early yesterday by a man who first blindfolded and bound her husband, police said. So inside the house, he blindfolded her and bound him. Officers said the rapist also robbed the couple of more than $100. According to reports, so I went back and found the actual reporting on those different ones that they mentioned. According to reports, a man armed with a knife broke in through a kitchen window at the couple's near East Side home at about 2 a.m. When he was confronted by the woman's 64-year-old husband in the living room, the man took $69 from the husband's wallet. The intruder then tied up the husband and blindfolded him, police said. Police said the woman apparently was awakened by the commotion and went to investigate. When she saw the man, she tried to run from the home, but he caught her in the kitchen, blindfolded her, and then sexually assaulted her. Before the rapist left, he took $45 from the woman's purse, police said. The woman was treated at St. Joseph's Hospital, then released. The couple described the man as a white, about 25 years old, standing 5'10", and weighing 170 pounds. Are you guys paying attention? Or there's zero comments related to anything that we're talking about. So that would be great if we could have, follow along. It's pretty crazy, It's just so ridiculous in here, I don't know, man. I know everybody says, "Oh, I'm listening, though." Yeah, well, just type. That's how it works in here. YouTube bases everything on that. Like after the show's over, like yesterday, I deleted the live stream because there wasn't one comment below it for an hour. Like an hour after the show, there wasn't one comment. That means it was so uninteresting that nobody had anything to say after the show was over. So I just deleted the damn video. Or, I put it on private. So it's just, that's ridiculous. I mean, come on, you guys. You guys gotta, when we're doing these cases, listen to what's being said and go, oh yeah, maybe that, it's just like the East Area rapist in this case. It's crazy. Yeah, I get tired of people saying we're just listening. Okay, I've told you guys many times that it's the interaction and people typing and chatting. That's what YouTube looks at to see if they want to dare to send somebody else over. And it's just every single time. It's just these. It's almost like a desert of It's just wild, man. Anyways, they said he was wearing a dark plaid shirt, blue jeans, and blue running shoes. In an unrelated case, the 32-year-old woman told police she was sexually assaulted by a man she met at a downtown liquor store, police said. So it's unrelated. Okay. So get rid of that one. And then we go back to this, and it says on February 5th, a 41-year-old woman and her 15-year-old, this is now we're in 84, so we're about 5 months later. A 41-year-old woman and her 15-year-old daughter are sexually assaulted by a man who enters their home near East Speedway Boulevard and North Wilmot Road through an unlocked door. 3 other people, including the woman's 11-year-old daughter and 14-year-old son, are home at the time. The family is attacked as they watch evening television. Right, so here's this right here. It's right here. A mother and her daughter were sexually assaulted last night by a gunman who broke into their East Side home while the family was watching television. The man, who was armed with a pistol, entered through an unlocked door from the carport around 11:30 p.m. and tied up and blindfolded the 41-year-old woman, her 11 and 15-year-old daughter and 14-year-old son, police were told. So he blindfolded all of them. After ransacking the house and taking money from purses and wallets, the assailant took the 15-year-old girl into a bedroom and sexually assaulted her, and then took the mother into another room and assaulted her. Police said after about an hour, he left. See, this is so similar to that East Area rapist guy. What was the name? D'Angelo or whatever? Yeah. The attacks occurred in the area of North Wilmot Road and East Speedway Boulevard. Okay, that's that one. Yeah, I present them in the real way, you know. So when you say I present details in a different way, I do them in the real way, where it's actually really the way it is, you know, not, you know, invented stuff, that kind of thing. All right, so that was February 5th, and then we got this one on February 16th here. This one is a masked gunman burst into a home near East Tanque Verde and North Sabino Canyon Roads and holds a couple in their 40s and the wife's elderly parents, both in their 70s, hostage for nearly an hour. The man breaks in as the family... breaks in as the family is watching television, cuts telephone lines, ties up the four people, covers their heads with pillowcases, and robs them of $225. And I think that might be this one right here. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's the East Area. That's the East Area rapist, Golden State Killer. You know, a masked or the Versailles ransacker. East Side couple held hostage in their home 1 hour by robbers. This is the actual article on the same thing. A masked armed robber held an East Side couple hostage in their home for about an hour last night before escaping with an undetermined amount of money and valuables, a sheriff spokeswoman said. Preliminary reports indicated that the robber may have sexually assaulted the woman living at the home after he walked in through an open door of the house near East Ponce Verde and North Sabina Canyon Road. Deputies and police were searching for the man last night, but they had arrested no suspects. Preliminary reports indicated the robber entered the home at 8 p.m. displaying a chrome-plated handgun. He then held the people at gunpoint for about an hour before fleeing in an unknown direction, the spokeswoman said. The man was described as white, in his 20s, 6 feet tall, 150 pounds. He was wearing a blue stocking cap, a blue bandana, mask, a dark blue sweater, and blue jeans. No further information on the robbery was available last night. But hey guys, we also need the support for the channel. After we got the challenge a while ago, we just dead as a doornail, and we're still at 60-something%. We didn't make the goal last night. We didn't make the goal the night before that, and you guys know what we do over here. You know, my channel relies on you guys, the generosity of the people watching, to make its goals and be able to, and then use the ad revenue combined with that, etc. And we donate a large amount of money every month to true crime related charities as well. So we're not like the other people who do absolutely nothing for the true crime community other than to blab on and on and on and on and on with bullshit information. We actually put out truthful information and donate. We've given $295,000 to true crime related charities since January of 2020. That's pretty amazing. All right, and we're only going to be able to do that as if you guys are contributing and supporting the channel. I know other channels don't do that, but mine does, because that's the only way to make it happen. All right, so if somebody else out there can do a challenge, give some channel memberships, that'd be great. All right, so this one was on the 17th. Get rid of that one. And then the next one here is February 24th. And this one, I was not able to find that one. A gunman slips into a home near East Broadway and Kolb Road through an unlocked door. A man, hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. A man and his wife are tied up, and the intruder sexually assaults the 36-year-old woman and her 15-year-old daughter. Wow, Jesus. So the father had to listen. I mean, this guy... he fled with $1,000 in jewelry and cash. And then the next one is March 18th, 1984. I do have that one. So a masked gunman crashes into a a monthly Saturday night bridge gathering, so probably elderly people, at a home near East Speedway Boulevard and North Wilmot Road. The 16 people at the party are robbed of $1,275. The robber takes only cash, telling partygoers, "I know what a pain it is to have to replace your credit cards." But no one was sexually assaulted at that one. And this one was March 18th. And so this is so this one says, a masked gunman crashed a monthly Saturday night bridge gathering at an East Side home and methodically robbed 16 people of nearly $1,300. Everyone thought it was a joke, said the hostess, after the man entered the North Alamo Avenue home shortly after midnight. He was wearing a bandana over his lower face and a second one over the top of his head. All we saw were his eyes and his eyebrows, and then the revolver in his hand, said the woman who requested anonymity. I'm so proud of myself. I used to not be able to say that word. It's just, I couldn't do it, man. The man who had slipped into the home through a sliding glass door, let's see, to the master bedroom, herded the hostess, her husband, and guests into the family room and made them lie on the floor while he ordered a female guest to empty the wallets and purses of the others. He collected $1,275 before fleeing, police were told. The robber, who was described as polite and quite literate and articulate, may have been attracted to the site by several expensive cars parked outside, said the hostess. Mostly we weren't scared, she said, because he told the group he wanted only money and that he was not interested in sexually assaulting or hurting anyone. The man entered the master bedroom, surprising a guest there. He pointed chrome or nickel-plated revolver at the man and said, "Freeze! Don't do anything stupid. Just turn around." He then steered him down the hall, commandeering other guests, and took them into the family room, where the card game was held. He told everyone to be calm and ordered them not to try anything. He did it very easily, and said the hostess of the robbery. One of the main problems was everyone thought it was a joke until he said he was serious. The bandit told the woman to gather all the wallets and purses. Hey, look at Jason Bourne's in there. So what do you think, Jason Bourne? Isn't this pretty crazy stuff? Let's see, is it down here? All right, and make masked man, and then he says, and he put them into a pillowcase he had taken from the bedroom. When the host asked if he couldn't just take the money and leave the purses and wallets, the gunman accommodated the group, saying, "I know what a pain it is to have to replace your credit cards." He then told the woman to take only paper money and put it into the eyeglass case. He fled, leaving the purses and wallets behind. Police said the amounts of money taken ranged from $20 from one woman to $670 from one couple. The hostess, in retelling the incident today to the Tucson Citizen, said, "We feel so vulnerable." But by the way, you guys, I just gave the spiel a minute ago for the support for the channel, and after I said that, nobody's commenting, and absolutely no support at all. So we're trying to reach the goal tonight. We're $120 short, believe it or not, of the minimum goal still. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, that would be fantastic. Just a little chip it away, a little bit at a time. Now, this is back in 1980s. People didn't lock their doors that much, and we don't know how he actually, got in each time. All right, so that one was on March 18th, and May 19th, we got this one down here. It says, a 22-year-old woman home alone near East Pima Street and North Craycroft Road is surprised by a gunman standing over her as she's sleeping. Man, that's just... He shoots at her, slightly wounding her, and she returns the fire with a gun she keeps by her bed. He is not hit and escapes. And that one, I might have... Let's see. I don't know if this is it. I think, let's see, hold on. Then there's one a day later. This is, so I didn't have that one. Then a day later it said, a 32-year-old woman with one other person in the house is sexually assaulted near East Pima Street and North Country Club Road. The man armed with a gun breaks through a window and ties her. And so here is the newspaper. A 32-year-old woman reported to police that she was tied with a chain and sexually assaulted early yesterday by an armed man who came into her home near East Pima Street and North Country Club Road through a window. The man apparently gained entry to the home through a den window shortly after midnight Saturday. He confronted the woman with a silver revolver, tied her hands with a chain, and then sexually assaulted her, police said. He then tied her hands with the electrical cord from a vacuum cleaner, took his chain, and left. He was described as in his 30s, about 6 feet tall, 160 pounds. He was wearing a blue and white headband, dark blue shirt, and jeans. All right, so that was the May... Yeah, that was the May 20th one. And then there's a little bit of a break there. And then July 6, 1984, a man breaks in to a house near East Speedway Boulevard and North Harrison Road with 5 people home. 2 17-year-old girls and a 14-year-old girl are tied up and pillowcases are placed over their heads. One of the 17-year-old girls is sexually assaulted. And that story is right here. 2 women were bound and fondled, and a 17-year-old girl was sexually assaulted late Thursday by a gunman who entered their home through a back door, police reported. In a separate incident, a 28-year-old woman was sexually assaulted yesterday morning after becoming lost. Well, just that one's different. So let's go back to the Thursday night assault of the 17-year-old girl occurred after a man entered the home where she was staying and tied up 2 other women, police said. The rapist entered the East Side home at about 11:30 p.m., according to police reports. He encountered one woman in a TV room and threatened her with a small silver color pistol. He directed the woman into the kitchen, where he found 2 other women, including the victim. Police said the rapist ushered all 3 into the living room and covered their heads with pillowcases. He bound the hands and feet of 2 of the women and the hands of the other. The rapist then fondled 2 of the women and sexually assaulted the 17-year-old. Police said the rapist then fled by car in an unknown direction. The rape victim's victim's underclothes and T-shirts were found later on East Speedway, west on North Houghton Road, in the general area of the victim's house. Police are looking for a male of unknown race, about 5'11". He had purple and blue bandana on his face and was wearing brown gloves. The other assault occurred in... Okay, that's different. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next one. I guess even Jason Bourne didn't think this was interesting. I do, though. I think it's interesting to just see, like, this was ridiculous, that this guy was just all over the place. All right, so then July 8th. Yeah, so this is another one. July 8th, a woman home alone near East Grant and North. So just like literally 2 days later, a woman home alone near East Grant and North Swan Road is sexually assaulted by a man hiding in her bathroom. He also steals money from her purse. And then here is that one. A 27-year-old woman told police that she was assaulted and robbed by a man who somehow got into her East Side home yesterday morning. The woman said that when she walked into the bedroom of her home near East Grant and North Swan Roads shortly after midnight, the man walked out of the adjoining bathroom and attacked her, police said. Police said the man implied he had a gun before tying the woman's hands and forcing her out of her yard where he assaulted her. He then took her back into the house, took $35 from her purse, and fled, police said. He was described as white, in his 20s, 5'10", 165 pounds. He was wearing a blue shirt, jeans, and 2 bandanas. See how there's bandanas and bandanas and bandanas. But hey, guys, if you could please help support the channel tonight. We're still not at the goal, so we need your guys' support. Nope, there's Wild Bill Wassman again. It's always Wild Bill and Alley Cake. Thank you, guys. And 2 bandanas, a blue one on his forehead and an olive drab one over his face. So he did put one on his face. So this one was, that was the July 8th one. And then there's one in July 28th. So this month were 3. All right, and this one is a man breaks into a home near East Speedway Boulevard and North Kolb Road. 2 people are home, and he sexually assaults a 49-year-old woman. All right, so this will be this one. A 49-year-old woman reported she was sexually assaulted early yesterday by an armed man who entered her East Side home as she slept, police said. The victim, who lives near East 5th Street and North Kolb Road, told police she was awakened by the man at about 2:45 a.m. as she slept in her living room couch. Whether the assailant forced his way into the room was not made clear in the police report. Once inside, he forced her at gunpoint into her bedroom and assaulted her, according to the report. He then fled in an unknown direction. The report described the man only as, this one only says 5'5", weighing 140 pounds, reportedly carried a silver handgun. That matched the other ones. You know, so that just shows you people, you know, it's hard to guess the height of somebody. All right, then this one here is August 26th. And it says, a man and 2 women are held hostage for 4 to 5 hours while they are on a camping trip to Mount Lemmon. An armed man enters the tent, blindfolds and ties the 3 people, and sexually assaults the women, 134 and the other 28. So here it is. 3 campers held at gunpoint. 3 campers in the Santa Catalina Mountains were tied and held at gunpoint by a man who sexually assaulted one of the women before fleeing sometime early Sunday. 2 women, 28 and 34, and a man, 30, were camping along Mount Bigelow Road, about a quarter mile off the Catalina Highway. They told deputies they were asleep in their tent and awoke to find a man with a gun coming in, said Sergeant Tony Callahan of the Sex Crimes Detail. The man tied the three, forced one of the women to have sex with him, and held them hostage for about 5 hours. Man, the campers were able to work free and contact authorities. The man was described as an Anglo in his late 20s, early 30s, 5'8", 180 pounds. He was wearing jeans, dark jacket, ski mask, and brown hiking boots with red laces, deputies said. All right, so this one, yeah, okay, that we just did that one. And then August 29th, so literally, 3 days later, we have August 29th, and I don't think I have that one, but that one is a 39-year-old woman with two other people in a home near East Pima Street and North Craycroft Road is attacked as she goes outside to investigate a noise. A man covers her head with a pillowcase and sexually assaults her. And then there was September was skipped. And then on October 6, 1984, this one says, with 4 family members at home near East Speedway Boulevard, and man, he was always right around the same area, in Wilmot Road, a man breaks into places pillowcases over the heads of family members and sexually assaults a 10-year-old. I mean, Jesus, this guy. 3 days later, police detectives say they have been trying to keep their investigation quiet. Admit to the Tucson Citizen that they are looking for a serial rapist who has been attacking women on the city's east side. One of the rapist victims criticizes police for not going public with the serial rapist information. All right, then, so that was October 6th. Then let me see, do I have that one? So that one I didn't have either. The one with the 10-year-old. Then October 22nd is a man who police now are calling the East Side rapist breaks into a home near East Broadway and Swan Road. A man and his 30-year-old wife are tied up by the armed man who sexually assaults the woman, robs them of $125, and escapes on foot. All right, and then that story is, I think, this one. Yeah. A husband and wife were tied up in their bedroom, and the woman was sexually assaulted this morning by a man who was believed to be responsible for up to 12 robberies and sexual assaults since January. And it says at 12:30 a.m. today, the attacker entered through an unlocked door into the house near East Grant and North Swan Road, said Police Lieutenant Bryce Fuller, head of the Central Investigations Division. The husband told police that the couple had been asleep in their bed when they were awakened by an armed man standing in front of the bed. So that's just what D'Angelo did. It used to be the Iran's East Area Rapist, then it became the Golden State Killer, just to make it a more popular name. But I'll try it again, you guys. I'm trying to do this show. I need your guys' support when we do these shows to try to reach the goals. If you have the ability to help support the channel, I would appreciate it. We seem to be struggling to reach the goals lately. This is about the 7th day this month that we haven't been able to do it. So I definitely could use your guys' support to try to reach the goal. Any chance somebody could do another challenge of some sort? That would be good. Took the woman. Okay, so then the husband told police that the couple had been asleep in their bed when they were awakened by an armed man standing in front of the bed. That's just what the Golden State Killer would do. The intruder ordered the couple to be quiet, made them roll over on their stomachs. Man, it's so similar to what he did. Tied them up and covered their heads. Fuller was told. The man then took the woman off the bed and sexually assaulted her, Fuller was told. The husband began yelling, and the man then took $125 from the woman's purse and fled, Fuller was told. The series of assaults has occurred in an area bounded by North Country Club Road and North Houghton Road, by the northern city limits, and by East 22nd Avenue, police say. All of the assaults have been at night in the victims' homes, police say. In many cases, entry to the home was made through unlocked or improperly locked doors and windows, police say. The attacker had been described as being slender, Caucasian, 20 to 35 years old, and standing 5'9" to 6'1". Another assault and sexual assault were reported to police yesterday. At 1 a.m. yesterday, a 35-year-old woman, so that was, yes, so this is the, well, I don't know. October 22nd is the date, but let's see what this matches. What, hold on. What is this one? October 20. Okay, man in his 30s. Okay, we don't know the arm man. Let's see what this one is. Yesterday, a woman was walking home near North 7th Avenue and East 6th Street when a man in his 20s came up behind her and forced her behind a dumpster. When he sexually assaulted her, police were told the man stole her purse and fled. Yeah, I don't know. That could be somebody else. Also yesterday morning, a 25-year-old West Side woman was leaving a University of Arizona area bar at closing time when she accepted a ride from a man in his late 20s. Police were told the man drove her to a construction site near East 22nd Street and South Curtis Avenue. Police were told she tried to flee, but the man grabbed her, dragged her to the ground, and beat her. I don't think that's probably not related. All right, so that was October 22nd, then October 30th. I don't have this one. In the first, it's the first reported attack away from East Side. A 47-year-old woman home alone near North Oracle and West. So he might be reading the articles now. And then that was October of 1984. Then there's this massive gap, May 5th, 1985. After no reported attacks in more than 6 months, the primetime rapist hits again. A 17-year-old girl babysitting in a home with 2 other people is sexually assaulted near East Pima Street and North Craycroft Road by a man who enters through an open window. And this is really short story here. I did find it though. It was a 17-year-old girl told police she was sexually assaulted early yesterday morning while babysitting at a near East Side home. The assailant came through an open window, surprised the girl, and forced her to have sexual intercourse, police were told. All right, that was the May 5th one. And then there's another one, May 27th. A 28-year-old woman home alone near East Speedway and North Road is sexually assaulted 6 times over a 4-hour period by a man who pries open her bedroom window. And that one was, well, let's see. Yeah, so that was May 27th. And then here's usually it's the next day in the paper. So it says a 28-year-old Midtown woman was sexually assaulted early yesterday by a man who forced his way into her home, police said. At about midnight, police reported the man pried open a bedroom window at the back of the home near East Speedway and North Swan Road. Then, according to the report, he covered the woman's face and sexually assaulted her about 6 times during a 4-hour period. The woman lives alone. Police did not know whether anything was stolen from the house. No vehicle was seen or heard. The report does not indicate if the woman required medical treatment. The man is described as white, about 30 years old, with a small but muscular build. He has brown, curly hair, a mustache, and a tan complexion. He spoke with a Texas or Southern accent. He wore blue jeans, a red flannel shirt, and white sneakers. All right, that was one. Was that May 27th? And then June 1st, a man breaks into a home near North Craycroft and East Grand Roads, where 2 people are home. A 52-year-old woman says the man held a knife to her throat and put a chokehold on her, causing her to pass out. She regains consciousness and he flees, apparently without sexually assaulting her. And that one is right here. A near North Side woman was threatened and knife point and beaten by a man who got in her home through a bedroom window late Friday night. The 52-year-old woman told police she was alone at her home near North Park Avenue and East Grant Road at about 11:30 p.m. When she walked out of her bathroom and into the living room, she was attacked from behind by a man armed with a knife. The man had gotten into the home through a bedroom window and hidden in the kitchen area. The woman struggled to get free, according to police. He repeatedly told her, "Do what I say or I will cut your throat." The assailant knocked the woman to the ground and then put a chokehold on her that rendered her unconscious. When she regained consciousness 30 minutes later, the man was leaning over her and cursing at her. He then ran out the back door, police said. The woman crawled to a telephone and called police. She told police she did not know if the man had sexually assaulted her while she was conscious. She was treated at University Hospital for cuts to her throat and lip and bruises on her legs, and then released, police said. The man was described as white, about 20 years old, 5'7", 135 pounds, with short brown hair. Isn't that crazy? All these things going on at the same time. I mean, just all back to back to back to back to back. What do you mean it doesn't seem like the same? What are you talking about, Lisa? Jesus, it is the same guy. It is the same guy. They know it's the same guy. It sounds exactly the same. It's the same damn story every single time. You know, the height, people just get the height wrong because they're laying down. They don't know how tall somebody is. Yeah, everything, it's always... Yeah, he did that in other ones too. Don't you remember? Early on, like 4 or 5 of the other ones, he beat somebody. Yeah. Yeah, he does the same thing in all of them. Sometimes he beats them, sometimes he... Alright, so the June 1st one, then September 4th, 1985, a 39-year-old woman and 2 other people are at home near North Romero and West Wetmore Road. The woman is sexually assaulted by a man who enters through a window, gags her, and ties her. So September 4th. So here we go. We move to this one. A 39-year-old woman was bound and sexually assaulted in her Flowing Wells area home early yesterday. The man apparently entered the house near North Romero and West Westmore Roads through a window at 1:15 a.m. The woman was asleep on the living room couch when the man gagged her and tied her wrists together before assaulting her, he said. The woman worked her hands free and called deputies shortly after her assailant left. She was treated at Northwest Hospital and released. The description of her assailant says was available. Then why didn't you say it? You know? Let's see. And so that was September 4th. And then September 10th, I don't have that one. A 41-year-old woman is sexually assaulted in a home near East 5th Street and North Craycroft Road. 1 other woman is at home. And then, okay, that was September, and then, yeah, I don't think I found this one either. A man and his wife, both 67, are home near East Glen Street and North Campbell Avenue. 2 men. So this has another person. And they don't know. This one here, they said, they just tentatively attribute it because it's similar. 2 men wearing masks and carrying guns break in and hold elderly couple hostage for 14 hours and force them to drive them to a bank. So this one, you know, that they already say that they don't know. They think it might be connected. Although this is only an incident involving 2 assailants, authorities tentatively attribute it to the serial rapist. And then, let's see. Which one was that? That was the September 5th. Yeah, right there. Okay. And then September 10th. Yeah, so I don't have that one or this one. And I'm not even sure if, so that one's the same one. It had the 15,000. I don't have that one either. May 6, 1986. Okay, I have that one. So in 1986, May 6, 1986, after no reported attacks in almost 5 months, the rapist breaks into a home near North La Chola Boulevard and West Ina Road. The intruder ties up 4 members of a family, assaults the 36-year-old mother and her 16-year-old daughter. He takes them to a bank, forces them to withdraw $300 from an automatic teller machine, and flees. Huh. It seems like he's sort of changing it up a little bit. You know, we have no coffees, nothing, no PayPals, nothing. Man, we are just really, really struggling, you guys. I don't know how to do any shows better, you guys. This is how I do shows. You know, I need your guys' support when I do the shows. We are just, man. After no reported attacks in almost 5 months, the rapist breaks into a home near North La Chola Boulevard and West Ina Road. The intruder ties up 4 members of a family, assaults the 36-year-old mother and her 16-year-old daughter. He takes them to an ATM machine. And we got this one right here. Just typing in links doesn't do anything. The primetime rapist who lawmakers believe, struck again Monday night in Tucson, is getting careless because he has a heavy drug habit and may be desperate for money, top law enforcement officials said yesterday. Tucson Police Chief Peter Ronstadt and Sheriff Clarence W. Dupnick in a news conference said they feared the serial rapist Robert may strike more frequently because he apparently needs money badly. Lawmen said that when the rapist broke into the Northwest Side home Monday, raping 2 women and robbing the family, he told the victims he had to have money. Dupnick said the intruder told the family he was in trouble over a large debt. The rapist, given the primetime nickname because he tends to enter homes while families are together watching evening television, did just that on Monday. He got into a home near North La Chola Boulevard and West Ina Road while a family of 4 watched television. I guess it's ministries, lawmen said. Once inside, the pistol-armed masked intruder tied up the family and sexually assaulted a 34-year-old woman and her 16-year-old daughter, investigators said. Then he forced the family to drive to their bank and withdraw $300. The family members, also included a man and young boy, were released early yesterday unharmed but badly shaken. Based on reports from the family, that the intruder freebased cocaine in their home. The rapist now is thought to be a heavy drug user. He is getting careless. Is this, that's 2B. Oh, wow, it's way up here. Cocaine, drug basing. Sheriff Sergeant Thomas E. Taylor said that was the first time the rapist ever used drugs in front of a victim. Detectives on a task force assigned, and that's actually what led to his demise. Taylor said his detectives are asking narcotic agents if they know any drug dealers or users who match the composite description of the rapist that victims have provided. Ronstadt said of new evidence turned up on Monday attack, this may be the best opportunity we have to nail this person. Yeah, I think they actually tracked down the dealer. Alright, so I'm going to go to the next one. Then May 23rd, a man breaks into a home near North Campbell Avenue and East Skyline Drive, stays for 3.5 hours, and sexually assaults a 49-year-old woman. And a woman in her 20s also at the home is not assaulted, and the attacker is scared off by an alarm. Deputies approach the front door of the home as the rapist flees out the back door. And then that one, and now they have a sketch of him. Prime-time rapist strikes twice, and then he escapes. The prime-time rapist apparently eluded officers from 3 police agencies during a frustrating day-long manhunt yesterday. One masked, well-armed man raped a 50-year-old woman at her Catalina Foothills home early yesterday morning, and investigators said, so Nancy Guthrie probably lived around there around this time. I mean, apparently robbed a couple of 6,500 5 hours later at a home nearby. Deputies believe they were just a few steps behind the man after the first attack, and through the morning and into the afternoon, some 50 searchers checked the affluent Catalina Hills area. Some went door to door searching for witnesses, clues, and other victims. But capture of the man, who has apparently haunted the metropolitan area since February 1984, was not to come yesterday. The search broke off at about 5:15. Anyways, they say he's 26 to 34, 5'9 to 5'11, 140 to 160 pounds, athletic, trim build, brown, wavy, collar-length hair, bushy eyebrows. Hey, Cobra. Brown mustache, possibly light-colored eyes, and he smokes cigarettes. All right, and then, so these are these 2 incidents. Then June 29th, an armed man breaks into a home near East Broadway and Country Club Road. He holds a 29-year-old woman and a 57-year-old man at gunpoint until they break free. They lock themselves in a bedroom and flee out the side door. An intensive police search fails to turn up the intruder. And police sealed off a Midtown neighborhood before dawn today after a man investigators believe is a prime-time rapist held 2 people at gunpoint before they slammed the door in his face and escaped. The intruder, who police said fit the description of the prime-time rapist, broke into a house near East Broadway and Country Club Road at about 10:15 p.m. yesterday. He held a woman and a man at gunpoint until they locked themselves in a bedroom and fled out a side door, calling police from a neighborhood house, police said. Neither of the people in the home was injured and no one was assaulted, police said. Based on evidence at the scene, the prime-time rapist is believed to be responsible, said Pima County Sheriff Sergeant Thomas E. Taylor, Jr., head of City County Task Force, as assigned to look for serial rapists. The intruder also wore camouflage clothing, which has become a trademark of the prime-time rapist. Investigators have tied 29 rapes and residential armed robberies dating back to August of 1983 to the prime-time rapist, according to the members of the task force. During that period, he is believed to have raped at least 27 women. The prime-time rapist was given his nickname because he frequently strikes in the evening hours, holding entire families at bay while sexually assaulting the women in the home. According to Police Sergeant Paul Hollums, last night's incident began at about 10:15 p.m. when a man reached through a louvered door, unlocked it, and entered the home. In the hallway, he confronted a 29-year-old woman who was carrying an ironing board. She screamed, and a 57-year-old man who also lived in the house dashed into the hall, grabbed the ironing board, and hit the intruder with it. The intruder pulled a revolver, forced the man and woman to lie on the floor, and covered them with clothing. The intruder, believing there might be someone else in the house, forced the two people to their feet and began a search of the home. Twice, the two residents managed, this is crazy, managed to get away, and once the women reached the telephone and dialed the 911 emergency number and yelled, "Help!" before the intruder grabbed her and the telephone. Normally, telephone calls made to 911 can be traced, but Police Sergeant Ferdinand Redlichik, or whatever the hell his name is, said there was a system failure at the time. As the intruder continued his search of the home, holding the two residents at gunpoint, they again bolted and ran into a bedroom, holding the door closed against the gunman. They then fled out a side door and went to a house about a half block away to call police. Police said they received the call at 10:25 p.m. and had officers in the area within 5 minutes. Within a few more minutes, the neighborhood was cordoned off. At 1:15 a.m., police started searching every house within a quarter mile of the break-in. He said 5 two-man team of officers went to about 90 houses before 6 a.m., waking residents and making sure they were safe. The intruder was described as a white male in his mid-20s to early 30s, 5'10", 5'11", and wearing cloth gloves and camouflage clothing and mask. Earlier victims of the prime-time rapist have described him as white, 27 to 34, same thing. All right, there's that one. So that was June 30th. And there's another one. I mean, this guy, he just didn't quit. June 14th, a mother and her son, armed with knife and rake, chase a masked man out of their yard near East Speedway Boulevard and North Wilmot Road. No one was attacked. That one actually, though, is in the paper. It's right here. Armed with a knife and a rake, a mother and son chased the masked prime-time rapists out of their East Side yard early today, police said. They thwarted the serial robber rapist in the East Speedway Boulevard, North Wilmot Road area about 6 a.m. The adult son slammed a door in the gunman's face, said Detective Sergeant Thomas Taylor, head of the Prime-Time Rapist Task Force. Later, the son and his mother chased the suspect from the yard. The masked man was last seen by a neighbor running north from the area. Apparently, the man dropped one of the gloves he was wearing about a quarter mile from the home, police said. Detective Sergeant Thomas Taylor, head of the task force, and other officers gave this account. The mother let the family dog out of the house, then went outside to investigate why it was barking. The woman screamed when confronted in her backyard near a carport by a man armed with a handgun. Her yells awakened neighbors, her son, and her husband. While neighbors and the husband called police, the son ran outside and also confronted the gunman, who demanded money. The son wheeled around, went back inside the house, and locked the door. Grabbing a knife, the son ran back outside to his mother, who was wielding the rake. Both chased the rapist, who ran from the yard. Police said the barking dog and lights going on in the neighborhood homes may have contributed to the gunman, his quick flight. Officers were at the house within within 2 minutes after the call for help. Based on the family's description of the gunman and physical evidence at the scene, Taylor said it was the serial rapist. More than a dozen police officers began checking door to door and using police dogs to try to pick up the suspect's trail. All right. So that was July 14th. And then August 19th, despite a manned security gate and other security measures, a man armed with a .45 caliber automatic handgun burst into a home in the Tucson Country Club Estates area at night. He holds a father, mother, their teenage son and daughter, and a family friend, then flees with about $200. No one was sexually assaulted. Because of the description of the robber and the way he acted, police list the case among the rapist's attacks, but concede that the gunman told the family he was not the serial rapist. All right, well, that's what he said, right? I mean, how do we know? See, that's this one. I don't know. I mean, we don't have to read that one too, but attack, shakes the neighborhood. Who knows what it does seem like that's what he do. Of course, you might say that to keep make them, disarm them mentally, All right, so that was August 19th, and then there's no more in here. And then September 24th, I mean, see, these are where all those places are, right? And this is right up in, the area where Nancy Guthrie lives, this whole area. And let's see where Camino Seco is. That's north. Now, I guess it's kind of these ones over here closer to there. But anyways, I mean, I'm sure Nancy Guthrie was aware of all these things. All right, here it goes. Police link 30 local incidents since '83 to primetime rapists. And we just went over all those. But here's the thing is, let's go back to page 1. That's the guy. Look at him. He looks just like that. All right, and his name is Brian Lariva. Police and sheriff deputies released an artistic drawing right of the primetime rapist earlier this year. They described him as 27 to 34, 5'7" to 5'10", 140, 160 pounds. He was said to have light-colored eyes and brown, wavy hair. Police said the suspect, Brian Frederick Lariva, left, who killed himself today while being sought in connection with 2 rape attacks, was 6 feet tall, 35 years old, and weighed 155 pounds, and had dark curly hair. Does it go up here? All right, so it says a Tucson man suspected in 2 attacks attributed to the primetime rapist, shot himself to death this morning when law enforcement officers attempted to arrest him. Police identified the man as Brian Frederick Lariva, 35, of the 5000 block of East 1st Street. The majority of attacks attributed to the serial rapist described as the most wanted man in Tucson history by law enforcement officers occurred within a 2-mile radius of the Lariva home. We had some warrants on the guy. We went into the to make the arrest, and he shot himself. The shooting occurred around 9:40 a.m. Lariva was taken to the Tucson Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead about 11:15. He had shot himself in the left temple. He did it right, an ambulance driver said. Dr. Richard Carmona, the trauma, who cares about that? Police said Lariva was released from Arizona State Prison April 11, 1983, so then he started up right then. The so-called primetime rapist attacks started April 19th, 8 days after he got out. According to Tucson police spokesman Paul Hollums, officers were dispatched to Lariva's house to serve warrants having to do with cases suspected of being involved with the primetime rapist. Anyways, he shot himself. Let's see. Where'd that go? A secret sketch led to suspect. So I guess they had these sketches of him. And then there was an informer knew the man, helped police. The man had his good moments. One of the neighbors remembered the way he used to play gently with her 4-year-old son. Is this regarding him? Yeah. Kathy Warner, a waitress at the corner cafe, recalled the day he gave her a ride to work. Another acquaintance said she knew him as a very nice, very polite, upstanding person. Yesterday morning, Brian Frederick Lariva, an ex-convict and drug addict who is suspected in the attacks attributed to Tucson prime-time rapist, stepped out of the back door of the parents' house and shot himself fatally in the head in front of a small army of law enforcement officers. Yeah. Let's see what the last one is. Oh yeah, so over here it said, before killing himself to avoid arrest, primetime rapist suspect Brian Lariva reportedly told police this whole thing was blown out of proportion. A psychologist for the Pima County Sheriff's Department says he was right and blames the media. We disagree. That's stupid. How would you blame the media? What the hell are you talking about? The media built this case up until there was a crescendo of terror. Well, because he was terrorizing them. Who the hell writes terror on the street of Tucson, then left the public to contend with that? The media did not build this case up, Police Chief Peter Ronstadt and Sheriff Clarence Dupnick decided correctly to ask the public's help about 6 months ago and held a press conference. It was the first of many and was followed by unprecedented circulation of composite, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, that's all right. Well, anyways, hope you guys found that interesting. Appreciate you guys being here. I tried my best today to do a show that was interesting. Anyways, thanks to Cheryl Bullock, Joel Burnt, Allie Cake, Michelle H, Allie Cake again, then Jim Lawn, and then, so thanks Allie Cake, and then Joel Burnt did a avocado dance, then Allie Cake, then Karen, Wild Bill Wassman, Jim Lawn, Stacy Facey gifted one, and Allie Cake, Karen, and then Wild Bill Wassman did 4 in a row right at the end with not another soul helping out. All right, you guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next time. Yeah, be safe out there.